Hi everyone, welcome back to Social Studies. So over this last week, we have been working on the 5 themes of geography. Let's review what we learned so far this past week. So we learned our vocabulary, and we also went over just what the 5 themes of geography were. This includes location, movement, human interaction, region, and place. Previously, we have talked about place and location. Today, we are going to start our new theme, which will be human-environment interaction. I'm going to go ahead and read this section here for us. Another theme of geography is human-environment interaction. This geography theme explores the relationship between people and the environment. How do people depend on, modify, and adapt to the environment? So think about that for a second. How do people modify, which modify means to change? How do people modify and change things in order to survive in our environment? Think about that for just a moment. Pause if you need more time. People need food, shelter, and clothing. People depend on natural resources from the environment to meet these basic needs. People sometimes modify the environment to meet their needs. For example, people build homes, schools, and roads. People set up irrigation and farming systems. People adapt to the environment when they respond to the climate and natural resources available in that area. So for example, think about where you live right now. If you live in a house or if you live in an apartment, that is built using wood. Where does wood come from? We get our wood from trees. So we use trees, which are from our environment, in order to help us build our homes. This is part of us modifying our environment in order to survive, because our basic needs, we know we need food, shelter, and clothing in order to survive in an area. We talked about that a little bit yesterday when we talked about place. Let's go ahead and go to this page here. So when we are talking about our environment and changing our environment to live in, this is just one example here, recycling. Recycling is a way that we give back into our environment. Since we have already used some of the resources from our environment, we're able to recycle them and give it back. This next picture here is a picture of a Mexico market. I see a lot of resources in this market that have been taken from the environment. Can you point out any? Well, there's a lot of fruits and vegetables in this photo that I don't know what they are, but there are a few that I can recognize. If I zoom in here, I see some bananas right here at the bottom of the screen. Those were taken from the environment, and now they are placed in a market, and of course we know food helps us survive. It's one of our needs. So the people from this market decided to live in this area where they could go and harvest food in order to help them survive. So these children here are planting a tree. Think about that for a second. How does planting a tree change or modify our environment? Well, like I said previously, we use trees for building lots of things. So in order to continue to build items in our own communities, we need to plant new trees that can grow, and then we'll be able to use them in the future as well. We have a flood irrigation system here, and it's used and surrounded on our farming banks in order to help with our planting and help farmers grow their food better. So here they are farmers are changing the environment slightly in order to help grow their crops better. Right here we have an earth lodge, and this was built into the earth, and it's a place where people who lived here used it as shelter. And it says down there it would fit about 10 to 20 people, so it's quite large here. And this is just another example of people modifying their environment in order to survive. They modified the environment, this hill, into a home for themselves to live in. All right, those are a couple of examples there. I'm going to go back to my article. So again, human interaction is just how do humans interact with our environment and what do we need to modify, which is change in our environment to survive. You are going to be watching another video that goes into great detail on this topic, and then be sure to respond to the discussion board posting when you are complete.